ahead and talk about the MSI scandal. So if you weren't aware, last night MSI was caught scalping their own 3080s on eBay. Now, this isn't a direct from MSI, but in many ways it kind of is. So a company owned by MSI, which is called Starlit Partner, is wholly owned by MSI, was caught selling their 3080 graphics cards for the Nvidia graphics cards on eBay for double the price. And they state here for $1,359 for this card. And it says 0 available, 4 sold. We don't know how many listings of this actually went up, so it's entirely possible that it was more than the 4 sold. And we do have the actual link, and this has been taken down since this all occurred. So MSI GeForce RTX 3080 Gaming X Trio 10 gigabit graphics card was listed on here for $1,359, and it's on here saying this listing was ended by the seller because there was an error in the listing. Now, as we know from all this isn't actually true. This was taken down because they kind of got caught. So the graphics cards were being put up by their eBay person. Apparently they have one eBay person, and this was found out by GamersNexus, and I'll show you their little video here momentarily. I'll show you the link to the video because they do a good job of covering all of this. But basically, they found out that there is a single person who was doing all the eBay listings, and Starlink is supposed to be used for refurbished products primarily, or products that had some sort of issue that didn't make them meet the standards to actually go inside of a box and be sold at a retail store, but still functioned, so they were able to sell them. They just weren't going to function at the same quality of what a retail store product would go for. Well, somehow they received authorization to sell new product and gain access to that inventory that they claim they're not supposed to have, but obviously someone in management or someone gave them access to their brand new cards and was allowing them to sell them on here for twice the price of what they're supposed to be. And so last night, Linus went out and received information on this and reported it to Nvidia. So Nvidia is going in and investigating this whole situation for what's going on. And last night, JZ2 was making some comments on this. He was hoping that what MSI was being accused of wasn't actually true, but he goes, this would not be the first time a brand got themselves deleted with Nvidia, but the problem is there is just too much noise right now. Fortunately, Nvidia is involved, and they do have the resources to get to the bottom of it. So Nvidia is not known for being nice about these types of situations. They are very protective of their product, and if you go in and mess with their product, you are messing with the standard retail lines. They can cut you off. They can say, we're not going to give you boards. You're no longer allowed to sell our product. So this is a huge risk for MSI, and they're in a kind of a tight spot here. Now, GamersNexus did go in and do a full video on this. They talked with board partners. They were able to call up MSI in Taiwan and get information off the record and find out what was going on. Apparently, most of the company was not aware that this was happening. So how localized this was, how small of a problem, whether this was just a couple of people within the company making a bad decision that makes the company look bad, or if this goes way up the ladder, we don't know. But MSI has on their Twitter issued an apology, and they said the Starlight Partner is an individual subsidiary working under MSI. They carry excess inventory and refurbished items and would not be given newly released products such as the GeForce 30 series graphics cards. As such, we have conducted an investigation and found that an error allowed them access to inventory they were not permitted to handle. Starlight Partner has been instructed to contact the individual customers who purchase these graphics card products and offer two options: return the products and receive full refund, or a partial refund of the amount paid over MSI's MSRP. Moving forward, MSI will enforce a stricter policy to avoid situations like this happening again. So they make it sound like we didn't know anything about this. This isn't our fault. We don't know if that's true or not, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to determine that. Hopefully, Nvidia, with their investigation, will go in and determine if this is a localized incident. They say an error, but to me, this sounds like management, someone in management over the eBay person, or maybe the eBay person has a little bit too much power and was able to authorize it themselves to go in and sell these, or for all we know, someone way high up at MSI Gaming USA said, scalp them, sell them for higher, let's get that extra profit. And now they've been caught. We don't know, but this was done in a way that is inappropriate, and we'll have to keep track of the story because it's entirely possible that Nvidia cuts them off and MSI is no longer allowed to make Nvidia products for an undisclosed amount of time. But or this could be where it's one person making a mistake or a software issue. These are entirely possible as well, and Nvidia could say you did the right thing by offering the refund, figure it out, maybe a slap on the hand, and you can continue to sell. So we'll let you know as the story continues to develop. Now we're going to go ahead and get over into the actual gaming part of the news. I know it's been a whole lot of information so far, but it's some important things that came up and happened last night and this morning that we needed to get covered. So, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Beta, everything you need to know. So, over on the PlayStation blog, the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Beta will be coming out first and available for people who have pre-ordered it. So, they give the actual availability times. So October 8th through the 10th, so that would be this weekend. If you have pre-ordered the game, you'll have early access beta to this weekend starting at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and this will run until Monday morning. And then if you have not pre-ordered the game, everyone else will have access to this beta starting for PS4 owners only, not Xbox. Sorry, Xbox players, but unfortunately, they've left you out on this one. I believe that it'll also start at 8 a.m. Pacific time, starting on October 10th for this and run through the following Monday. So this is the 8th through the 10th, and then the 10th through the 12th, and then another one for open beta will also be available from the 15th to the 19th. And then we'll have a couple of weeks off. They'll probably go in and do some bug fixes, get some patches done in there, and get this all updated for everyone. So you'll be able to earn an SMG weapon blueprint for coming into the beta. And once the game comes out, this blueprint should continue on and be available to everyone. And then we have some other PlayStation news where Demon Souls weapon attacks and spells will have different sensations through adaptive triggers, haptics, and integral to the experience. So they're going to actually have the special ability of the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers. So if you swing with different weapons, a great sword or a long sword and shield or some other weapon setup, you're going to actually feel that in the triggers as you pull them and get a different experience based upon how you like to use, how those weapons work in the game. So you'll go in and you'll find something you'll like, and it's entirely possible that the adaptive triggers may affect what weapon you prefer to use simply because you prefer the feel of how that works in your hand. And then the haptics are also going to be an important part of this. So you'll get that different feel if you block something with your shield, get hit by different weapons, and just overall trying to give that new experience through this controller. We'll see how well this really works or how much of this really just feels like Rumble. Baldur's Gate 3 sales are already insane, says Lieren, CEO of the company. And they put in these Twitter posts, and it says, "Our sales are insane. This is just early access, you all. We just wanted to have a nice little community to iterate with. Now, what are we going to do?" And another post later on. "Remember, that it is early access and not full release. It'll crash, stuff will go wrong, not everything is polished or even finished. However, it's already loads of fun, it's packed with content, and I'm very proud of what our team has accomplished. So, all kinds of good information just talking about this game, how it compares to other games, and how it affected what they wanted to do. So this is from the creators of Divinity Original Sin 2. And it has a lot of those aspects built into it, but they still wanted it to feel like a Baldur's Gate game. So it's got influences from all over the place to try and create this hybrid of a whole new feeling Baldur's Gate while still trying to get that same effect from the old games with taking advantage of the new processes and technology that they've used in these other games. And over on some Xbox news, Phil Spencer was asked a question about the Xbox Game Pass and not having access to XCloud on PC and consoles, and he responded with, "Yes, we want to do this. It's in the long list of things the XCloud team is working on, just a bit further down the list, but we want console and PC players browse as easily as mobile players. It's a good Game Pass feature." So we are still getting this on PC. We are still getting this on console. I've asked them before and not gotten a response. So it is nice to see that they are finally responding that we are still going to get this feature for PC and console. So if you have a current Xbox, you can go in and use the xCloud feature to get better performing graphics and just let the internet kind of run through and do all the hard processing, and on your system all it has to do is manage to get that information up on your TV screen, so you can potentially have the better graphics at the cost of some latency to enjoy these new games that are coming out. And then we have some additional Xbox Series X overheating information. So the Xbox Series X overheating was kind of a big deal. People were talking about how one of the people said that they burned their hands, and that would be Jeff from over at Giant Bomb. And Jeff actually puts in information saying that what he stated in the video is actually greatly exaggerated in all these posts that are coming out. He said, "A lot of chatter regarding Series X heat. On Beastcast, I said it was toasty, and that's exactly what it was. I've read stories that are using the Beastcast segment to support claims that the Series X has a heat problem. I would disagree with making that assumption. If you are concerned with the story you read saying the 1 terabyte expansion drive appeared to burn my hand, you are, of course, perfectly welcome to watch the full Beastcast sequence starting here," and he gives the link in his Twitter. "Hot to the touch, yes, but clearly did not burn my hand." And he also has the link here to be able to click through and watch it through. "A full preview of the video on Series X will be coming soon, where I will cover my entire experience in more detail. Thanks and stay tuned. For help spelling my last name, please see Google." So apparently a lot of the stories that were coming out yesterday exaggerated. Obviously he is saying that there is heat coming out, it is toasty, but a lot of people are saying that's because it's doing its job. It's getting the heat expelled out of the system. And as I mentioned earlier in the PlayStation 5 teardown, I would expect this to be kind of in the similar way of trying to push that heat out. So if it's not actually dangerous, if it's not actually burning, it's just warm to the touch, that is far less concerning, and it just shows that the system is doing its job. The only real issue that I would have with that is concern for longevity of things such as your expandable storage plugin. We know that typically heat does affect those things, that over time it does cause electronics to break down, and if that heat is particularly centered on, say, expandable storage that you just spent $220 on, and it reduces the lifespan of how long that's going to function, that's going to make a lot of people mad in the long term. But in the short term, it doesn't appear to be as big of an issue as it had been made out to be, and a lot of people, such as Jeff, are expressing that everything is kind of being over-exaggerated with how much heat this is actually putting. Thanks for hanging out. Remember, if you're over on Twitter, follow me as the Gray Falcon. If you're watching this on YouTube, I am Gray Falcon over there. Make sure you click the subscribe. And again, if you're watching here on Twitch, make sure you click that follow button. Till next time, have a good one.